Are you still carrying a really heavy backpack when you get out there on trail? Do you find when you get home, your shoulders and your back and your hips are a little more sore than you really think that they should? With modern technology and today's new backpacking gear and just a couple really easy changes to your backpacking gear loadout, it is really easy to get us away from that total pack weight of, you know, carrying like 45 to 50 pounds and get us down to a much more comfortable 30 to 35 pounds and even lighter if you so desire. Today what we're talking about is 5 really easy tips to get the heavy backpack off your back and get yourself something a little bit lighter and a lot more comfortable. The first tip we're going to talk about today has to do with new gear purchases, and it has to do with going out and picking up a new backpack. The traditional meta when it comes to backpacking and backpacking gear is these big bulky load hauling packs, you know, a pack that can carry up to 50 to 60 pounds, and you know they're supposed to transfer weight really well, and they do carry very well for the weight that they're carrying. But with newer modern backpacking gear, it's just not necessary to get a pack that's able to carry up to 50 pounds. Now, one of the big disadvantages with going with a pack that has a heavier load carrying capacity is the weight of the pack itself. Most packs that have between a 40 to 50 to 60 pound weight carrying capacity, those packs alone are going to be, you know, 4.5 to 6.5 pounds. It may not seem like a lot, you know, when you think about it, oh, a 4-pound backpack, what's the big deal? But when you consider that weight stays with you all the time, and with making a switch to a lot of modern gear and kind of adopting a lot of modern philosophies when it comes to backpacking, it is very easy to get us down to a total pack weight of, you know, like 30 to 35 pounds, where we can use packs like an Osprey Exos or a ULA Ohm 2.0 or any other, you know, modern ultralight or really lightweight backpacks that are out there. You know, my Osprey Exos is about 2.5 pounds. My ULA Ohm is just a hair over 2 pounds. Just going to packs like these alone have cut, you know, 3.5 to 4 pounds out of my backpacking gear loadout. To me, that is very significant weight savings, and it's just added a whole lot of comfort to my backpacking trips as a whole. Now, if a new backpack is in your immediate future, instead of looking at some of the heavier Gregory or Arc'teryx or even some of the heavier load carrying capacity Osprey backpacks that weigh up to 4.5, 5 pounds, maybe consider looking at some of the lighter weight packs out there, like the Osprey Exos, the ULA Ohm, the ULA Circuit, the Hyperlite Mountain Gear packs, Z-Packs backpacks, etc., etc. There are tons of different backpacks out there, especially from the cottage vendors. You know, a lot of these handmade backpacks, the custom packs, they are coming in at ridiculously light weights and very comfortable packs. For tip number 2, we're going to talk about stuff sacks a little bit, and more specifically compression sacks. A lot of people seem to think that, you know, when you start getting these ultralight and lightweight down sleeping bags and down quilts, that you have to get these compression sacks to make it squish down that much smaller. They're just like a traditional stuff sack, but they usually have this flap that goes over the one side, and you have these little straps, so you can kind of squish it down, and it, you know, it kind of gives you the idea that your gear packs down smaller. Now, while in theory it does make sense to go with these compression sacks to squish your gear down smaller, it actually becomes counterintuitive when you start putting all that gear inside your backpack. If you think about it, when you've got all your gear broken down into individual stuff sacks and you start stuffing it down into your pack, you know, if you look alongside the side of this gear, you've got all this dead space here. And that space, there's nothing to eat it up. It's just open air that you're carrying in your pack, and it's not as efficient when it comes to packing your backpack. So if you eliminate stuff sacks and compression sacks from your pack, you're actually going to end up using the space in your pack a lot more efficiently, because, you know, just taking this quilt and just stuffing it down into my pack, it's going to fill all those little nooks and crannies, and it's just going to efficiently use that space a lot more. And it's also going to cut the weight out from eliminating all of the compression sacks. Just to kind of give you an idea of the kind of the weight that you can save from eliminating compression sacks from your bag. This sack here, this guy weighs 4.5 ounces. This is a medium size Aegis Max. I think I got this off of Amazon a couple years ago. Seeing me have a lot of this gear, like stuff sacks and stuff like that, you know, I am still kind of new to this, you know, ultralight and lightweight and, you know, shaving weight out of my backpack. And these are just things that I have done that have really helped me. And I like passing that information on to you guys, you know, and if you guys have any tips and tricks that you think may help other people, you know, drop them in the comments down below. A lot of the tips and tricks that I've picked up over the years have been stuff that I've grabbed from you guys out of the comment section. So like I said, if you guys have any tips that I haven't covered in today's video, drop them in the comments down below. It helps me out and it also helps out everybody else. For number 3, we're going to talk about one of the most common ways that people tend to overpack and just add too much weight and too much bulk to their backpack and gear loadout. This is just kind of an example of a lot of the extra clothing that I see people carry out on backpacking trips, like a full out cotton sweater. You know, it's not synthetic at all. As we all know, cotton kills out in the backcountry. It doesn't really dry when it gets wet. It's not going to keep you warm if it gets wet. It's heavy, it's bulky, doesn't really pack down a whole lot. Instead of carrying a sweater, you're a lot better off carrying an insulating layer like a puffy jacket. It's going to weigh a lot less, it's going to take a lot less bulk up in your backpack, and it's actually going to be a little bit warmer when you get to camp on those cool nights. Not just sweaters that are adding a lot of unnecessary weight to people's backpacks. The biggest culprit is actually a full extra change of clothes. Now this one is a bit of a mentality thing, and I can understand how it takes people a little bit to kind of get over that one. You know, in our day-to-day lives, we change our clothes every day, we have a shower every day. Well, most of us do, hopefully. But when we're out there in the backcountry, I can promise you guys and gals, not a single person is going to care if you are out there for a 3 to 10 day backpacking trip and you wear the same clothes every single day. And number 4 is probably the biggest culprit that I see out on trail when it comes to people just simply carrying too much weight in their backpack. And it's one of the most essential things for life, and that is water. Now, when you think about it, every liter of water that we're carrying with us out on trail weighs 2.2 pounds. Now, a lot of people love these water bladders. You know, this here, this is a 3-liter water bladder, and obviously it's not full. This has about 2.5 liters in it. But when this thing is completely full, just the water weight alone is 6.6 pounds. 6 pounds of water. That is a ton of weight. And most people don't just stop at a water bladder. I have seen so many people out there carrying a full 3-liter water bladder, and then they fill up a 1-liter bottle, stick it in their side pocket. They mix up a juice with some Crystal Light or some Mio or something like that, and they're almost carrying 9 pounds of water. That's absolutely insane. Like, when you think about it, 9 pounds. That is almost an ultralight backpacking gear loadout just in carried water. Now, with all that said, if you are hiking somewhere where water sources just are not that plentiful, and sometimes you just have to carry a larger amount of water to get to where you want to go, you obviously don't really have a choice. But if you are hiking in an area where water sources tend to be pretty plentiful, a great thing that you can do to help you cut weight out of your backpack is just carrying, say, 1 liter of water at a time. And when you are at that water source, make sure you camel up. And when I say camel up, just drink as much water as you can at the time. It's going to cut out weight that you're going to be carrying on your back, and it's just going to be a lot less unnecessary fatigue and wear and tear and just discomfort on your back and on your shoulders, on your hips, on your legs. Water weighs a lot, and a lot of people don't necessarily consider that when it comes to their gear loadout. Tip number 5, we are still talking about water, and that is water carrying devices or water bottles, whatever you want to call it. There are so many backpackers out there on trail still carrying, sort of the traditional, I guess, tried and true Nalgene bottles. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody out there has a Nalgene bottle. I've got a bunch of them. I love using them at home. I love using them at work. But when it comes to a backpacking trip, I don't even consider these unless it's winter time. That's the only time that I will even remotely consider carrying an Nalgene bottle over something like a disposable bottle like these smart bottles. If I want to have, the ability to carry 2 liters of water at a time, which is what I always do, 2 smart bottles is 2.5 ounces, and 2 Nalgene bottles is 13.5. Now that's almost a pound, almost 1 pound just to carry water. To me, that's a little bit ridiculous. And if the initial weight savings of going to a smart bottle aren't enough, you can take it even a step further and get yourself one of these filters like the Platypus Quick Draw or the Sawyer Squeeze or the Sawyer Mini, or any of those filters that have the threads to screw onto the top of a traditional bottle. And what you can do is you can use your smart water bottle, the 1 liter, as a dirty water carrying bottle, and you can filter directly out of it. So it's going to save you weight because you're not carrying an extra bag or you're not carrying a bladder to filter water out of. You're going to filter water directly out of your water bottle. Now, if you enjoyed the 5 tips we went through in today's video, if you guys are looking for even more ways to save weight out of your backpack, I've got an entire playlist on weight saving backpacking tips that I have previously shot and compiled for you guys, and you'll find that right here. So when you guys are done with this video, find a video in that playlist. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll enjoy. And as always, I am Matty. Thank you so dang much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.